What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of For the Girls, brought to you by Relationship Restored. Today, we are talking about something that we're pretty excited for, and shout out to Cece. She came up with this, found this topic. We are talking about, do you and your partner have different party styles? So we're going to touch on vacations. We're going to touch on just hanging out, what you do for fun, who you hang out with, all the things in terms of party time.
Yeah.
Because when you get married, it's a thing. It's a whole thing.
When I first saw the topic, I was like, party styles. I was like, we don't really party. But
like
then when
party
I thought
habits.
about it,
You partied
Having a
literally
good
last
time, going out, enjoying yourself.
at home by
that's
yourself.
a different type of party. So that's
But
why I was
no,
like,
but
this
it's still
things to
it's
talk-
relevant.
This is why it should be
yeah.
talked about. This is why
Yeah.
it should be talked about. Okay, who wants to kick it off?
I mean, I can kick it off.
Okay,
'Cause
all right.
listen, y'all know I'm a party girl. Okay, like I love.
And you and Shane match, honey. I've never seen a couple match in the way that you and Shane match when it comes to party styles.
I
If
have
you
a disclaimer. I have a disclaimer, and this is for you, Angela, because I don't want you to get caught in the trap.
Okay.
Do not, if you are alone, turn up with Cece and Shane.
Oh yes.
Because every time I've hung out solo with
gets-
Cece and Shane, I don't really remember the full night. Something always happens. Like, I remember Dre, I thought I had like glass in my foot for like 5 days and couldn't understand why. I go to Cece and Shane's house like a week later, and Shane's like, "Is your foot okay?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You were walking barefoot
in
through
these DC streets.
And I'm like, "What? Why do I have these problems?" I lost my favorite leather jacket that night. Don't know where it's at.
I think basically what Bria is saying, if you ever
Can't keep up.
had the opportunity, the blessed opportunity to hang out with Sierra and Shane, Dr. Shane,
Dr. Shane,
Don't do it.
Dr. Constant.
expect a fucking turn up.
Yeah.
Be lit.
So this is one thing that Shane and I really love about each other.
Match.
Is that we are same as far as like what we like to do, how we like to do it, the things we like to consume. Like it's like we are in alignment, with that. And so it's great because like I said, I'm a party girl. Like I've always loved a good time. I've always liked to be out. I like to be social. So for me, I needed someone to match my energy and such, or not be intimidated of me like going out with my girls. And like, we have a huge tribe of girls, not tribe, we have a huge like group of like best friends that also like to have a good time. And so I needed someone that wasn't going to be intimidated by that. And then also when I'm out, not going to be intimidated by me being social with everybody, men, women, everybody. So
How to have like a confidence about him.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
can't be insecure being with Cece. Like you have to be able to go out and be
you have to be able to
alpha
hang.
male it.
Yeah.
right?
And so the beautiful thing about like Shane is that actually he's a little bit more of a party animal than I am.
I was about to say. I was about to say.
Like he's a bit above me. I'm not gonna lie. Like we are pretty much same, but Shane can hang a little bit longer than I can.
That's amazing though.
Yeah, Cece be ready to go to sleep.
Yeah,
because
and, like-
every time we end up getting back to the house, like you be on the couch or done, and Shane's like, "You want another drink?" No, I'm gonna go.
I'm
Like,
good.
I'm dying. I'm dead.
I'm already blacked out. I don't even know how we're communicating right now. Like I'm definitely not gonna remember it. So like with us, it's and having a good time is important to us. Like it's not like we also like to just be in the house and kind of chill because we're in a different stage in our life now.
Bree was just talking about.
Yeah.
That's a different type of party.
Yeah, but also when we're at home,
counts.
like once Capri goes down, go down to bed. Especially like now that we have our new house and we have like our house is kind of like a party house,
Like
like
backyard.
so
made for entertaining.
it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely an entertaining house. So, honey, we'll pop a bottle of wine or like make a good cocktail and go out by the fire pit or go out on the deck or whatever. Just chill and hang. It's a good vibe. And like we are always on this. Not always. We're pretty much on the same page typically.
Yeah. Which is
And we like to party the same, which is important too.
Yeah.
Right? So like, cause like, you know how like some people like to go out to clubs and some people just like to like maybe like do like a kickback in the house. We like both, but when Shane and I do go out to the club, we both like EDM music. So we're like ravers. We're just like, Like, we just love it. Like, so I think that's important because, like, if you have someone who like likes to rave and you have someone else who's like, I'm not really feeling this environment, it's gonna put a damper on both people, right? You know?
Yeah, and then it kind of like,
wait till we get to me.
it can put pressure on the other person
It
to
absolutely
like
can.
Push them outside of their box, which could in turn be a good thing. Like for me and Sean, as y'all know, he's the introvert. I'm a little more social than him, but we do match in our party styles, like how we want to have fun. Not necessarily in our social styles. Now, because I'm more social, I kind of push him out of his box. When we're out and about, he'll kind of do things more than what he would do before me or without me in general. Now, in terms of our party styles, we love to be at home. We love, or we love a kickback with friends.
Yeah.
You know, the go out club scene for us, that's maybe like a quarterly thing for us.
That's a lot though.
That's
quarterly
a lot for us, but it's
lot.
quarterly, you know, but doing something in the home or doing something with friends, that's something we look forward to every week.
Yeah.
And, you know, for example, last night, you know, after Alina was asleep, her mommy came to visit after she left. We had our own little party.
Yeah.
And we consumed the same
substances.
Had the same reaction.
That's great.
You know?
That's great.
We're looking at each other like, this is awesome.
Are you feeling like how I'm feeling?
We have some deep ass conversations.
Yeah.
Start writing notes in our phone about what we're gonna do for the rest of our lives.
I love that. See, I like that kind of party too. Like when Shane and I can just kind of like be like, you know, be off of edible or like just be like be high and just like
have your robe sitting by a fire
and just be like, okay, so 2023 is coming. What are your
what's gonna happen this year?
Like, I love that too.
That was our party last night.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we enjoy getting up with y'all.
Yeah.
Like couples nights are always just something to look forward to with us because you can vibe with other people who are kind of going through the same phase in your life, which is awesome. And then you get ideas from each other. Like, I think we got the note thing from another couple. Like, that's awesome. We're going to start doing that. We were high. We just started doing it. So, you know, just, you know, that like stuff like that we really like. And then like past just the notion of party styles, I think it's just, should we dub it party style or like fun style? Like how you
like to kick it.
How you like to kick it. I don't know how you're going to title this, Dre, on the YouTube thumbnail. Yeah. But I mean, we like to travel and like we like to travel like in a certain way.
Yeah.
You know
like dudes like to travel the same.
We travel the same. Like, you know, we want when we go, and it came to an agreement because he likes to chill and I like to jump off cliffs and like do excursions. So together that made us, when we travel, kind of compromise, which makes a beautiful vacation every single time we actually do it. Yeah. So it's like some days are chill and massagey, sit by the beach, or he wants us to start doing like some more cabin type stuff. I'm like, let's go skiing down the slope. Yeah. Like, so we tried.
Best of both worlds.
The best of both worlds. So I think that also matches. So although we might not be same in like our energy levels, I think it balances out when it in terms of our fun. So that's us. You know,
I mean, so Bree, because y'all, Bree is also a party girl just like me. Okay, like she likes to hang out too.
And it's funny because when I saw the topic, excuse me.
Whoa!
I'm drinking cold coffee and it's not doing my throat the best. No, this is something that me and Dre are actually in real time, like dealing with and struggling with a little bit because
transparency moment.
We have baggage, right, from like the beginning of our relationship that triggers Dre or makes him feel uncomfortable in certain situations because of how I was in the past. So the biggest issue is the way that I have a relationship with alcohol. When you think party, when you think have a good time, it normally includes a beverage. Especially
a substance of some sort.
If you're with your girls, or with a group of people. And you guys know this, like the last few functions, I have not been drinking.
Like the other day, I I was gonna invite you guys, but I knew that you had Alina.
Oh.
So it was like an impromptu thing.
Yeah,
I invited like Bree and Dre and Rachel and Jeremy, and we just like kicked it by the fireplace. Typically Bree will enjoy a good cocktail or 2 or 3. And so when she came over, she brought her own little mocktails, and I was like, Bree.
She was prepped.
And at the housewarming, I was there.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to figure out my relationship with alcohol and what that means in a correlation to having a good time. Because
that's a good topic.
I have had, every time me and Dre have had issues, is stemmed from me drinking. So like when I'm drinking, I'm not in the right mindset to be good to him. I'm like immediately offensive over every little thing. I overanalyze, I nitpick, and he'll do something super random and I'll be like, why would you say that? Or why would you do that? And he's like, what? And I don't even remember what it is the next day because it was so silly. Yeah. But then our energy is off and now he can't enjoy the night and now he wants to go home and I'm like, I want to have fun. He'll end up leaving me. Hence why I be with Cece and Shane alone.
Turning up.
Because he'd be like, I'm not here for this.
Yeah.
So the issue has been, and I told him, I was like, I feel offended that you can be out with your boys and like you'll stay out till 3-4 in the morning. You had a great time. You come home telling me about your great time. But every time we try to go out, we end up going home early, or I feel like you don't want to be out with me. Or when I invite you to do things with like fun couples.
This is good. I feel like
it
a
hurts
lot of
my
people
feelings because I'm like, what the heck?
Experiencing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, so when he told me, because I think he was afraid to tell me like the reason why, or maybe he didn't know because he wasn't thinking that deeply into it. But he was like, I think I get triggered when I see you on like drink 2 or 3 because I know what comes next. Like it's a simple pattern. He's like, after 3 or 4 drinks, you have so much fun. You're ecstatic. You're talking to everybody. You're having a good time. Then you get emotional and you'll cry about something. Then you get angry and then you'll like be upset that I'm not consoling you a certain way or that I didn't say a certain thing. Then we end up in an argument where you're arguing with yourself and I'm just sitting there listening and I could go on and on and on and I'll just talk about the most randomest things. Say things I don't mean at all. And then I'll pass out and go to sleep. And then I wake up and I'm like, hi. And he's like, she has no idea that our night went terribly. Or ended terribly. So I'm trying to find a way to have fun without the alcohol consumption part. And Dre is trying to let go of the drunk moments that I've had and the irresponsible Bree in the past to not be triggered so that he can have fun with me as who I am now, even if it does include drinking. But now I know what my like max is, it's like I don't need more than 4 drinks ever. Like
same.
See, now
Same. But I very often go well beyond that. And then that's when it goes
downhill.
Left. Yeah.
And it's like the night might be fun, but then you don't really remember it.
And then you feel like shit the next day.
For me, now that I'm 30, it takes 3 days for me to recoup.
Don't sit right
100%. 72.
Like,
It's
not one day.
That was me at 28. Like it took 72 hours. It takes 72 hours to recover.
It's real. And
someone
it just
told me after you have babies,
everything.
things flow differently in your body.
I mean, certainly after I had
is.
Capri, I was like, oh.
I think also after a certain age, we can't bounce back. Like when we were 21, like the next day you're going to the day brunch. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can't do that anymore.
But in reference to, what you and Dre are going through, I think like the common thing you guys have seen throughout our podcast is how do we work on issues with our husbands? And it's just like, it really comes down to communication, honestly. Because what if you and Dre never had that like come to Jesus moment about why you guys don't have fun going out together? Like it could have kept going for years. Dre could have kept going out with his friends.
And the resentment would have built it.
And then there would be assumptions. And then every time, then you start going out without him. And then Dre is like, what the fuck? Like it could go so many different ways.
I will say one thing that I feel like which I think can work for some couples, like I don't think there's anything wrong with you enjoying a certain type of like turn up or hang out separately. And for me and Dre, right, that we don't find pleasure in being in a loud club because we're like, we can't communicate. You're kind of like, we don't like turning up to the same type of music in a sense of like, I'm an old school, vibey person, but he's not gonna like dance to that. He'll sit there and maybe sing the words, but we're like, this for us isn't good quality time. I'd rather be with my girls in a situation like that where we're just like,
Yeah.
And for him, he likes being out with his boys and watching sports and stuff. I don't like watching sports.
Yeah.
So we have a very clear understanding of like what we enjoy doing separate and then what we want our party fun time to look like together. But we have to work on letting go of some past things. Like even for me, I immediately get offensive when I do get on drink 3 because I'm like, he's judging me. And I'm like, I got to let go of that. And he has to let go of when he sees drink 3 being like, this is going to end terribly.
Yeah.
So we are coming up with like code words and like different things to help us out that holds me accountable in a way where I feel loved and not judged. Because imagine if I'm on drink 3 and he's like, you're on drink 3, like immediately I'm going to feel away. But if he's like popsicles and I'm like, that's for me, something that's supposed to remind me to have fun, but be mindful
Safe word.
and be aware. But in terms of like travel and like entertainment, we are on the same.
Like, y'all love a good comedy show.
Yeah, we love going to like live shows. We like hosting. We like going to people's houses and having good conversations, and you know, all of that is the same. But it's really the drinking thing. And after that conversation, you know, during that conversation, I should say, he asked me to go back to therapy, like individual therapy, to figure out why alcohol has like this hold on me in a sense, because my father is an alcoholic. My mom's not an alcoholic, but my mom, I've grown up with seeing her and my family drink pretty much every day. There's never a party where I'm with my mom and she's not drinking. There's not even like a normal day where she's not drinking. Like she's that's a part of her daily routine. And that also, seemed normal to
like, I think we forget to realize, and we had an episode about trauma. Like a lot of stuff that we saw in our childhood are things that we mimic. So, you know, if you saw your parents drinking and partying and having fun, and I know you've said before, you've seen a lot of your family members get drunk, get into fights, and like, so I mean that, like, you know, thankfully you're not on that end of the spectrum. However, like, you have some of that trauma that you're kind of emulating. You don't even know it.
Because even though when I wake up, like, he's like, I don't understand how you can say all these mean things to me. And then you wake up and you're like, hi, baby. And like, it's a new day. But then he was like, but then when I thought about it, he's like, that's exactly what your family does. They fight and the next day it's like nothing happened. And I didn't realize like that's not normal. And I probably need to unlearn that behavior.
I had definitely had some party behaviors that I had to let go of. Let go of and tone down, because like when Shane and I first got together, like, I mean, Bri, I don't know if you remember, like, but before Shane even came into the picture, like, I was just wild.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like wild, like there was just no stopping me.
I remember
like,
you said that
I would black out and then keep going.
Right, and you wouldn't like communicate with him. He'd be like, "Where the fuck are you?"
Yeah,
like,
and then I would just kind of like be like, "I'm doing me,"
and
like,
that changed to her being like, "Shane."
Yeah, and so but for a while, you know, I didn't find anything wrong because that's how I was moving prior to meeting Shane.
Right.
So I was just like, I mean, I'm not like out here like chasing, you know, dudes. Like I'm having a good time. Like, yeah, I might drink a lot, but you know, to him, it's not even about me going out and having a good time. It's like what happens when I go past my
it's about your safety,
my limit, right? So it's like I'm blacked out. Like, you don't know, I'm in an environment with a bunch of people. Like, some dude could like snatch me up, or I could make a bad decision. I don't know what's happening. I could be drinking and driving. There's just so many factors that go into play that me, when I was single, I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like, you're tripping. But when we got together, it like became a problem where like he multiple times, like I got in trouble. Like like he had to like sit me down and we had to have a talk about it. Because I will say I did. Like, I didn't, like, violate to a point that was just, like, overly disrespectful. But I did violate sometimes, right? Where, like, I just stayed out until, like, 4 a.m., didn't check in, came home pissy drunk, you know, or whatever. Or I was maybe... I almost violated, like, right, like I was out in a club and I was like with my girlfriends, and then like we would like leave one spot and like go to a next spot with it wouldn't be my, like, we would go to the next spot with some dudes, and it wouldn't be like dudes that I knew, like maybe like my girlfriend knew them, but you know, when you're in a relationship, you have to start moving different, right? Like if even if I'm with my single girlfriend and she meets some dudes out or whatever, and like we're going to another spot, you know, I need to start moving a little bit different because the image of that doesn't look good. The perception that comes with like, oh, I know I'm seriously dating, or I know I'm engaged, or I know I'm married, but it's innocent. Like, yeah, there's dudes around, but I shouldn't be like overly overly like hanging out, or even like, you know, taking an Uber with like another dude if I'm like in a, you know, in a relationship. Like there's boundaries that shouldn't be crossing once you have committed yourself to one person when it comes to, you know, you partying with your girlfriends or whatever. So like those are things that I certainly had to like navigate early on.
How long do you feel like it took, or I guess like what was the process of when you first met Shane and you guys kind of like kicking it and moving? Like, how did he, and I'm asking this because I feel like certain people might be in this situation.
Yeah.
How did he communicate with you? Like what needed to change, I guess, and how long did it take for you to actually like make that change?
Well, my man is very direct. So if he don't like something, he's gonna let you know immediately. He does not bite his tongue at all for anybody. So when he's I'd say like when we first got together, like officially like boyfriend and girlfriend, it really almost happened immediately. Like he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Chill this shit out.
Like on for real, like on 4th of July, and then like I think you know because it was July, so like you know DC be popping. So like maybe like in like later July and August, like I think I was like out at a club with, I don't know, somebody, one of our girlfriends, maybe Callie, maybe KO or somebody. And then I was drunk as hell and I came home at like 4 a.m. was just like, you know, la, la, la. And he was like, listen, and we together now and like we're serious, like that shit gotta stop. And I was offended by that. I was like,
He told you that when you came home drunk?
Yeah. He's like, you don't let me know where you are. Like you came home at 4 a.m. Like anything could happen. Like not like it has to stop, but like we need to like put some boundaries in place. And this was like month like 2 into us being boyfriend and girlfriend. And so because it was that early, you know, sometimes it's like you still like testing out. And I'm like, in my mind, this was my mindset 4 years ago. It's like, nigga, who are you to tell me? You know, and like, so I was almost like offended that he was trying to change me. I was like, I am who I am. You either accept it or you don't. But I realized after I sobered up that he was someone that I wanted around long term. So if this bothered him, I had to take it seriously. And also, I probably need to stop moving the way I was moving. Like, you know, some shifts need to happen. So for me, my actions probably started changing, not immediately. I would say maybe like, if I'm being quite honest, like 6 months into our relationship, like where I really started changing.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of that change happened also because of COVID. So Shane and I got together. It was forced change too, which you know, like, so I'm actually very grateful for COVID because it brought us closer.
Yeah. It actually broke some people apart.
Absolutely did, and it brought some people closer.
Yeah.
If it weren't for COVID, I don't know if my change would have been as rapid as 6 months into dating. It may have taken a lot longer.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. There's a delicate balance for those who are experiencing this between communicating your boundaries and the person that you're talking to or whoever you're with begins to feel forced or in prison. So there is a delicate balance. And I kind of wanted to bring up a situation. Do you guys watch Love is Blind?
Yes.
So not
Love it.
the season, it was like and I don't know the exact story. I just kind of like skimmed over news. It's like so they're a black couple. He was tall, she was little, she was like adopted.
Is it like a reality show?
Yes, it's on Netflix. She had like a shortcut. I forget her name. She was really pretty, really
I know
sweet.
exactly what you're talking about.
She would stay at home, and the guy would just go out and be out. Like, and I just remember in the show, she was saying like, that's just not, you know, feasible. It's not something that can happen forever. And they just kept talking about communicating, coming to a compromise. He didn't want to feel like he was, you know, in prison, tied down, couldn't go out and have fun. But she also didn't want to feel like she was sitting on the couch waiting for her spouse to come home.
Not a good
so
feeling.
I know there's a lot of people who are dealing with this right now, especially in the early phases of a relationship, because people kind of have to get out of certain habits from their single life and now converge them into a couple type habit or situation. So it's a very delicate balance. And I'm not going to say me and Sean were always kind of on the same page in the beginning. Because in the beginning, Sean, he is an introvert, but he had male friends that he would go out with and do single shit with before he met me.
I can't imagine it.
Yeah.
I can't.
It was like, and then like, I think as time went on, and I would sit at home and wait for him too. So I think as time went on, I think and then Sean also being an introvert, he wanted to be in the house with me. So it kind of naturally flowed. And I would say about 6 months. Now we didn't have COVID slowing him down, but it kind of naturally like flowed into, you know, we're going to kind of do things together. We're going to stay in. And we're not always together. Like I go out with you guys. I go out with girls. If he's invited, he'll go out with guys and watch sports and stuff. You know, Sean's main thing is the gym. Yeah. However, you know, I would say the common theme between all three of us and relationships that do kind of navigate this is communication, compromise. You don't want to make someone feel like they're in prison. Like they can't go out, like they can't have fun.
Like just because you don't enjoy something, somebody else should totally be able to enjoy what they enjoy.
But
in a way.
that couple from Love is Blind just got divorced.
They actually married?
They got married and they just got divorced.
I thought that they didn't.
So speaking of this, I have a girlfriend who has been dating this dude for about a year, and this dude likes to go out with his homies or whatever, but he never invites her to go out with him, with his homies. Like, and he never wants to really go out with her to have a good time. So
that's like an imbalance.
And I have noted, and
she wants to go out with him.
She wants to go out.
I think the girl in Love is Blind didn't really want to go out all the time. She likes to go out.
She's a social girl and she's a pretty girl. She's smart, like whatever. But he never invites her to go out with, like, I think she said like she hasn't even really met a lot of his friends. So
can we just get some red flags that we can keep on our laps on the episodes?
Yes.
And, like, flag.
That's one of them.
Flag on a plate. That's red flag.
Yeah. Like and so like so she's from LA but kind of moved around a little bit. So she's back in like the DMV now, and she doesn't really have a lot of friends out here. He's from the DMV, I believe. So he has all his friends. And so she's kind of in the same situation where she's kind of like at home. And also she's a single mom.
Yeah. Oh.
So like she's at home and, you know, she's kind of like waiting for him, and like he goes out and like does his thing, and she just like, you know, I would just want to be invited. I would want to go out too. I could find a babysitter. Like I just want to be in the mix with
There's
you.
got to be some kind of compromise. Like, to me,
say,
that sounds very imbalanced
compromise.
and lopsided. Again, like I said, there's just like a delicate balance between compromising and communicating boundaries or putting boundaries in place in comparison to you're on lockdown and you're in prison. Like, obviously, we don't want this man to feel like he can't go out with his homeboys.
Right.
However, I mean, again, it depends on the frequency. How often are you going out? Like, when are you coming back? How are you communicating her when you're out? Are you at least inviting her maybe 1 out of the 4 times?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, but that's also for the woman who's in the situation. I mean, 3 months in, 6 months in, 9 months in, a year in, you are allowing him to move like that and with no change, with no compromise. Like, that's on her. A man's going to do what you allow a man to do.
Granted, they were long distance for in the beginning of the relationship for like maybe like 9 months. But now she lives here. And
so it's only been 3 months of her kind of
being here and like being like.
Did she move for him?
No.
Okay.
No, she did not. But you know, now that she is here, she's like, hey,
and
like
then,
I'm your girl.
like on the flip side, at some point, whoever is in the girl situation, even if it's the guy or the girl, the one who's staying at home all the time and waiting, at some point you start feeling lonely.
Absolutely.
And like you start looking
and you don't want to feel
for-
lonely when you're in a relationship.
Yeah, you
Like,
shouldn't
you
feel
shouldn't feel
lonely in a
lonely.
relationship.
I think in general, when you're dating, if you just talk about, lifestyle things, like what does your life look like now? And then what do you want our life to look like together?
Yeah.
Because for him, if she asked the question of, do you think your lifestyle is aligned with someone who wants a wife and a child? Because I have a child. If we're dating, I'm sure she's dating for the long haul and would want him to be a father figure. And it's like, is the way that you're moving and living, does that
also
align
has a
with
child.
He does?
Yeah.
Well,
and she hasn't met his child yet.
So again, it's like, it
yeah.
sounds like it's just not
Where's
aligned.
the red flag straight?
I know. Throw it up.
You know what? We should get like a little red flag problem. Like,
No, for real. It's happening. The next time we film,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find some Amazon. Here I come.
Can we get For the Girls like the logo?
We're
on
gonna
it?
look. We're gonna get it popping.
because that's not cool.
No, I
That's
agree.
Flag on the play.
I did tell her that. I was like,
And
Okay,
with
all right,
Angela,
pause,
what
pause,
you mentioned
pause.
though,
Maybe because I want to take it back. Maybe the mother and the boy, the man, are not ready for her to meet. So I'll take that back. Being in a relationship with someone who has a son.
Yeah.
before
I'm just-
so I'll
well,
take that.
if
I'm
you-
taking
if
it back.
you
I'm taking it
consider-
back. However,
if you consider that and the way that he's
The other
kicking
stuff,
it, it's
yeah,
not
it's
aligning.
not, yeah.
It's not making sense.
Yeah.
It's giving red flags.
Yeah, I agree. I told her the same thing. But I know that there are also many other women who are in some relationships where it's
Yeah.
like the dude's just cool, that's just going out living his life in the way that he was prior to him coming into a union with
to
this woman.
converge some
but-
way. Like if he's a go out person and you're a go out person, I think a great example is go follow Cece's Instagram and watch how her and Shane make that work. Like they're
don't
great
know, post about
examples.
that.
I'm about to say it won't be helpful.
Right,
She
it
doesn't
won't
post
be
it.
helpful.
We
I
just
just
having
Talk
too
to
much
her
fun.
about she needs to start sharing a little bit more.
I'm going to share more because
they're lit.
Because I think it would be good for people to kind of like, because I truly believe that my husband and I have a very healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And how we communicate, how we like to do things together, like our dynamic.
So yes,
is like
if that's
very
if that's your dynamic and you want to kind of see how that works, please go follow Cece's Instagram.
I will
and
start
follow their
posting
story.
more.
If your dynamic is more like me and Sean's, we're a little home. We work out. We stay at home. We get a little high at home. We get a little drunk. We go out every now and then, quarterly. Come to my page. If you are like Bree and Dre, where they do have their separate lives and they go out with their friends and they're still trying to figure out the balance, I think Bree's Instagram is a good one to follow. And they're doing a really good job at it.
You guys are doing good.
Yeah, it takes time, right?
And also kudos to you and DeAndre for having those hard conversations.
That's a hard
and,
conversation.
and making those sacrifices. Like not to
That's
say
a good word, sacrifice.
I mean,
that guy
because
wasn't willing to sacrifice. In
Bree
the
likes to
relationship.
have a good time.
Yeah.
So like she realized that she needs to start doing something different. So she took some time to like kind of pull back the layers and like remove things from her life. Like, you know what? I'm no longer gonna drink for like this extended period of time because I want to see if one, I can do it, how it makes me feel, how I like to engage in social settings without drinking. It's
good for you too. Good for your health. Your gut
It
biome.
is. I mean,
Look at these abs.
her
gut
I
biome.
was literally just about to say her abs are coming in. Like she looks great, and also it's good for her and DeAndre to kind of like. It's good for DeAndre to see his wife in that light. Like, oh yeah, like I love this about her, but I can also appreciate her like when she does have a beverage that she's not gonna go above and beyond. Like there's a
also-
And
balance
that's
there.
why I asked you guys, or that's specifically I asked you how long did it take to make that change. But Angela also brought up the 6-month thing with Sean, is because nothing, like if you guys are in a relationship and you guys are moving differently or having like, not the best alignment in terms of lifestyle, once you communicate, hey, I would like to see this, or let's come up
should
with like a
be some
compromise,
type of
you have to
change.
give time for the change to happen. It's not an overnight thing.
Oh,
it's not going to
absolutely
happen
not.
in 30 days.
No,
It's not not going to happen
because
in
that's
60
when
days.
that's when the person feels locked down. Like,
yeah, or
if
even,
you have the conversation and next weekend there was something he was supposed to do with his friends, and now
you're
he feels
immediately
like
like,
he
what the-
can't go. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be like a slow.
It absolutely, and it has to be, I think, on that person's time. Now, granted, that person shouldn't be dragging their feet, because I don't believe that if anyone loves you, they're going to make an effort to change for you. I know my man will do anything to see me happy. Anything. So if I ask him to do something, I can't expect it to happen overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
It takes time, because he has to want to get there for himself in order for it to actually stick.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm like forcing him, pushing it down and throw, you need to change, you need to do this, it's not going to stick. And then there's going to be some resentment that comes from that as well.
I just want to put this right. Maybe this is how we should end. You cannot change a man. You cannot change a man.
No,
you cannot change a man.
Listen, my
I mean,
mama-
you can't change a person. I mean,
can't.
women are a little more
can't.
flexible. Sorry, men, if you're
can't.
listening. I think we're a little more flexible in terms of how we can adapt our habits for someone we love. However, just in my experience, and y'all can add into, you cannot change a man. You cannot change a man. You cannot change a man.
You cannot make a man love you. You're not gonna
And show done.
You cannot make a man see you differently. You cannot make a man change his habits for you. He has to want to do that.
You can't do
on his
that
own.
by, and you can't do it sneakily. Like, you can't go and have a baby and do it. You can't
Oh
go.
God, no! That's the worst.
And-
Sis, do not have a baby.
can't
By this
do
man
it.
thing, it's gonna change him. Because then it's gonna be more work on you. Trust me, I've seen it so many times. So many times.
It has to be a he has to want, he has to have, sorry y'all, he has to want it halfway too. Like, it has to
Absolutely.
be like a meeting point. And that's what I think Dre and Bree are doing and showing, is that they both want it to work. So I think Bree expressing, I feel like you don't want to have fun with me, but you want to have fun with your friends. Dre probably didn't know that shit.
Look, so the reason why this is just now coming about is because we waited for marriage, and one of our boundaries when we waited was that we couldn't both be intoxicated. Like, we couldn't get drunk together. So once we got
Because
married,
then
you know,
you guys
then
might slip
sex
up and
might
like,
happen. So our whole relationship, I would be the one that he would, like, I would get drunk, I would enjoy myself, and he would be like Papa Bear. So imagine we get married, now we can have sex. Now he has the freedom to do that with me, but he feels like he can't, because for so long he's
was
been
on the
Papa
other
Bear.
side.
I mean,
so that's why it's a new thing that we're like,
Yes.
oh, this is an
Yep.
issue
Yep.
that
Yep.
occurred because of a boundary that we set during
Yep.
waiting.
And that's a really good point, Bree, is that also, so I said, let me back up a little bit. Bree and Dre were together for 5 years prior to getting married, right? So they had that time together, but because they set those boundaries, once they got married, they started navigating new territories
Things that kind of were
in their relationships. So my point is, just because you've been with someone for a substantial amount of time, people change, situations change. So you have to always kind of
evolve,
always be
check in.
evolving, always be working, always be
in.
checking in,
Yeah.
and making sure that you're staying acutely aware of how your partner's feeling about certain things, like adapting to changes, because just because you guys like to party the way you like to party now, separately or the same,
it'll
it's going to change.
Especially like when y'all have kids.
When you guys have kids, it's going to change.
As you get older and the body gets a little achier.
It's going to change. It's going to change.
Damn, those heels hurt.
Yeah, like it's all going to change. So you have to be able to adapt in your
And
relationship.
I think any relationship, I think like the ones that last and stand the test of time, those are the ones that are easily evolve, are able to adapt to change, because people change in a marriage. I know we've talked about that. They change, and you have to be able to change with them, or evolve, not change yourself, but evolve with them, you know? And it's way easier said than done, the checking in stuff. And I can admit now on this camera, I'm not the good one at that in our relationship. So
Me neither.
don't feel bad.
Shane's over here always like, "Hey, listen,
That's Sean.
are you good?
It's that Virgo
do you,
thing.
Do you feel
it's that
seen?
Virgo thing. It's that Virgo
Do you
thing.
feel loved? Can I be doing anything more?" Shane is the one who says that.
That show is Sean.
Yeah.
And Sean feels like it's like one-sided. And so I think Michelle Obama just recently made a statement. It's never gonna be 50-50. Like if you feel off because you're asking your man to chill out with going out all the time, don't. Like, put the ego aside. You might have to put 70 in, and he might have to put 30 in for a little bit, and then it might shift, you know, in another area. You're putting 30 into something and he's putting 70 into keeping the house and the finances
Yeah.
together. That's just how a relationship is.
Yeah.
So when it comes, if you're having a hard time in a relationship and the party styles aren't matching and you think it's not gonna last, just, you know, like Bree did, step up to your man or whoever and say, I have a problem with this. Like, let's try to fix it. And it's gonna be a hard conversation because that's a tough one to like call out somebody's habit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This was a good episode.
Good episode, guys.
Good topic, Cece.
Yeah.
You guys are welcome.
All right, so let's cheers our coffee. It is early,
It is
y'all.
early in the morning.
This is the earliest film time that we
alcohol.
have ever done. I started the morning texting them like, let's never do this again.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a wrap.
this, and it's 9 a.m. But, you know, it's a Sunday. Nobody wants to film at 9 a.m. on a Sunday.
No.
And then Angela's a 45-minute drive. She has a kid. Like, so, it's just
a
a
whole
lot.
thing.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure
love y'all.
you follow Relationship Restored. Comment if you guys have a topic request. Let us know because we do check those and we do show up and do the topics that you guys want. Make sure you follow us at Relationship Restored at, I was about to say Cece Lyles, at Cece
That ain't
at
making no mo.
Angela Hannah and at Brianna of Ponte. Until next time, y'all.
Bye, y'all.